Yiannis is a world-renowned password cracking expert and a member of Team Hashcat. And I have the Hashcat, so I make the rules.
And also, just the lack of presentation will be one kind of again, my name is I completely hear that puzzle type is very good subject to concept. This is what I know. So I play my master on the puzzle type. I'm also a member of the hashtag. I don't know. I'm a member of the hashtag. Can you talk a bit louder or? Sure, yeah. Sorry, yeah. I attended various competitions, the cracking video can and positive hack as well. What else did I do? Yeah, done good information technique. I said that I cracked that password. I don't know, maybe. Yeah, I think I did actually. And the article was the How the Bible and YouTube fueling the next frontier in password cracking. So actually that passphrase was in the Wikipedia. It wasn't. I didn't brute force that into anything. It just took a couple of seconds from a word list from Wikipedia. So anyway, that was it. Yes, it was. Exactly. Yeah. Except the one. So the one was the rule. So I was also interviewed by BBC on BBC News Technology. So let's start with the corporate definition. So for a puzzle cracking, the problem is cracking the last, let's say, 10-15% of the puzzles of a hash list. So and that's the actual problem. I'm going to go through, and also every time I'll just reiterate to that, the agenda, small agenda that we've got. So the puzzle cracking attempts are successful if it cracks 92% or more of passwords every time. So you have to really come up with new techniques or methodology just to go and just push your puzzle cracking into that level. Also, something I didn't mention, I'm also Greek, so when I get too excited, I might switch language. So if it's something that you didn't understand in Greek, so just interrupt me, let me know. So let's just put a place where we are. So you already tried to brute force some hashes from that hash list. You already tried your word list. You tried your let's say your private or your public word list that you've got, and then you reach, let's say, 25 to 90% of hash list. And you need to crack the rest of them. Why? Because you actually need to. I mean, there is no point, but just to, you can just push it further down. And you're stuck with nothing else to do actually. And you're stuck to that. And instead of just leaving it there to 90%, they just put a bit better percentages. So let's try to solve this problem. For the puzzle crack, it's a problem. For the rest of them, I don't know what that is. Anyway, that's a problem. So my 5 cents for today is like I use Hashcat. It's an awesome CPU GPU based puzzle cracking tool, and it has an active link as well. Also, I make my own rules and I constantly improve them. I make my own word list and I constantly improve them. Which this is what a puzzle cracker should do actually. And I use and contribute towards the creation of hash utils or any techniques or any additional rules. I don't know if anyone's seen my rules on new releases of Hashcat. And in today's presentation, I said the usage of a new tool called TeamSEs, and I will show how that combined with existing techniques and existing tools that are on the hash list, how we can be able to crack more passwords. So just a small Hashcat overview about the versions we are. So Hashcat CPU is 0.47, Hashcat GPU on NVIDIA or ATI. It's 1.21, Hashcat utils 1.0, mass processor and stats processor. Is anyone familiar with the rest of mass processors or the tools? Yeah, cool. And the attack modes of OSL hashcat. So got brute force attack, combinator attacks, dictionary, fingerprint, and hybrid attacks, and so on. Just the modes that the hashcat has built in. And in hashcat utils, it's going to be the team ICs and also the rest of the tools that I'm going to explain today. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that's Atom, the core. That's the and Phil's and Lee was they're the two core developers of hashcat. I just wanted to mention that. So we're here to start with advanced word list generation. So there are many tools. I mean, when we try to do password cracking, I omitted most of them. I'm just going to present some of the new ones, the one I used, and let's see how that goes. So we can create, let's start with word list generation. You can create word lists out of everything. Like for every website you go, from online Bible, you can go and see poems, you can see movie scripts, so everything. You can make a word list out of everything. And that's the main reason that I cracked that big password that I showed at the beginning on the first slide. So, but the most successful word list that you're going to have is, of course, from previously cracked passwords. And if you have a big collection of them, then you have a really, really good dictionary. Hashes.org, the website, they do really contribute into creating one of these word lists. But I think every password cracking has their own private as well for all the passwords that they crack. Also, Wikipedia offers free copies of all the content that exists on Wikipedia in 283 languages. So then we actually have the Unicode part of passwords. So Greek letters, any type of letter. So you have word lists also on these languages. And also our C-logs. So Ubuntu has a really, really good source. We'll see later on a screenshot. And pastebins posts as well. So if somebody's scraping pastebin for fun and dropping or something, then you can actually see that archive.org started archiving the pastebin post since 2013. So we no longer have to just attack the pastebin all the time or use torso. So I don't know what people are using. So just to scrape pastebin. So we'll see later on how that goes. So the quicker way of doing it is just replace space with a new line and then sort them. You can create word lists out of anything. So you have a list of words and then the separated value will be space. But then I think CoreLogic did a really good job in cracking VueCan 2012 and forced this Atom just to write some small scripts to create small phrases of like 1 word, 2 words, 3 words. And that's a nice script that I think you can find on. Let me see if that works. Oh, cool, nice. So there's a link there with all the combinations. So Fraser will just get the input will be let's say a list of or an article or something, or just cut small words out of it. We'll see later on how that works. So that's the Wikipedia. You can go there and just actually download all the database in different languages. Those are the RC logs, so you can go to RC log Ubuntu since 2004 and start downloading scraping the whole text, and then use Fraser, for example, just to start cutting words. Or on archive.org, you go in and download the pastebin paste, and it's there. We no longer have to crawl and scrape pastebin. So we use that, we create our own rules, but what do we actually find out about using that? So the first thing is like people actually love passphrases, and that's a really, really good point. Just I've seen, I lost the previous presentation about the passphrases, but I'm sure it's equally like the approaches for passphrases. I think for every password cracker will be quite similar. And people actually use the passwords. Everybody knows that. Someone's username, someone's password. I think Dioxide mentioned that one day on IRC, and I really agree with that. And people are more resourceful with passphrases and often make them personal, which is, well, I guess that's the password cracker something. So you can get more information out of that passphrase rather than that single word. So it hides more information. And of course, something completely separate to that. The source of hashes from a single hash list becomes obvious once you start cracking the first couple of passwords. So if you have a hash list and that hash list came from a single source, then you will find it because the root words will just yell the location where that hash list came from. A good example is LinkedIn and the rest of it. We're going to have some slides later on. So some sample, passphrases. So those are actual passwords. Some we recognize the masking at the beginning where that password came from. That masking, the zeros, the beginning of the hash. Yes, okay. I'm password protected, so that's good password actually. Yeah. And complex, and look at my horse amazing, and this is not my admin login. Those are actual passwords that they're gone anyway. And just to be more fun with it, so those are my favorite passwords, so I found them somewhere. Okay, you can still see the masking there, and I'm just collecting them just for as a hobby, I guess. And for those that they think that the life of a password cracker is really easy, imagine waking up in the morning and you see these passwords. It could actually dramatize you for a lifetime. Really, it's like like this one. Seriously, it's like, come on. I don't know. So imagine waking in the morning and say, let's see how our cracking rig goes, and you say, come on, and then you just go. Oh yeah, so passphrases or whatever techniques that people use for their passwords. The first one actually, I then found out that it's actually a name of a song of Latin. So yeah, all right. I didn't know that. So when you don't really know that it's an actual title of a song, then it makes a more difference, I guess. So anyway, moving on to that. Yeah. Let's just create some rules with messages. I'll just explain that. So why rules? Why just focus on rules? Everyone has rules in their passwords because of the password policies that we force to them. So you can actually see a space is considered a special character. So on the first example, you'll see that that will actually meet most of the password policies. It's a special character in a lowercase, and you're fine with it. You can actually use it. But then people you just remove the space in the middle, and they just create a word list, a password like this, X password or something. Or they just do leak text, or they'll have smiley faces, or whatever. So people are really good at coming up with techniques to mutate their passwords. And let's start with the first tool that was publicly available anyway for a while now, and see how we're able to improve it. So Morph is a tool that comes in Hashcat utils, and you'll get so you start tracking some passwords for a new list, and you have some samples to work on. Taking those samples into consideration, then Morph will just start reading them, and will create insert rules based on the positions that the keywords that are mutate. For this example, 1, 2, 3 will actually appear in position, starting from position 0 to 0, 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3 just to append. And Morph will create insert rules just for those positions. And the result of it, then you use those rules and you come up with more passwords, which it really worked really good, because you have some statistics and you see how people actually mutate their passwords. The limitation of Morph was like you had the limitation of 3 characters, so it was 0 to 3 characters that were adjacent. There's a new version now, Morph in turn, that will extend that like in 4 or 5 characters. So there's no limitation on that, but you can actually see it in Hashcat utils. That's something that was out there for a while, so I just I wanted to explain. So let's talk about team essays, the main reason for today. So how does team essays work? So team essays will create rules that it sends contents of one word list into all positions for another word list. The input word list source can be anything. So it could be numbers, it could be dates, it could be special characters. So that would be insert rules for the position, and that's a really good example. So the team essays will create insert rules that if our input is password, then we'll actually insert it from position 0 into position 7, and we'll mutate any word that is that will actually will be our, let's say, word password candidate. So those would be our password candidate words. Let's see more examples sorry, of TSS. So those were some lists that they became public domain a couple around the last 2 or 3 years ago. So and all these the most common stuff that all these lists had is when you started tracking some passwords and you did some analysis on them. then the root words were yelling the source of them. So, for example, the LinkedIn will actually have as a root word the LinkedIn, and or linked Alex or Mike. That's really, really common. And Last.fm, Maga Trader, Silver Club. So those are actually websites that got hacked and all the hashes went out. But when you started doing the password analysis on even the first 10 or 15% of passwords, then those words would actually yell out. What I've actually done is just remove every digit and very simple. And I sort them by occurrences, so how many times they appeared in there. And also I just removed the second example. I just removed all the letters, and I wanted to see how many, what were the mutations of those root words that they appear there. The idea is for TMSs to use those root words as an input word list and see how that works. So, but even before that, then you've got a really, really good sample of, running some combinational attacks. So we've got some really plain alpha root words and some mutations. So if you actually combine them, then you start cracking passwords like, the root word plus something, or the root, or if you have some word list there, and then that actually started making sense, because if people are actually using the word of that source that came out, then it will appear on their passwords. So moving forward with that, with TMSs, if you have if you just collect the root words from there, then you can start. You have these rules on all these root words that you're going to use, and by generating rules by that, then the result will be, for example, tripod with inserter LinkedIn on position 3, and that will give you really, when you're close to 90%, every password matters. But if it gives you 2 or 3% on that stage, that means that your attack was really, really successful. And this is what, even if it's a simple approach to take around password cracking, at this stage, at 90%, when you start cracking passwords, that means the approach to take is really, really good. So that actually worked. And so then you start extending that. What are you going to use for these root words? So at the position of that word list, let's see what else can you use. So let's just expand these attacks. On a later stage, I went and I downloaded lots and lots of PDFs that are free and publicly available. I hope. Well, they're PDFs anyway. And I converted them that they had English literature. So I wanted to have some sort of a good sample of how things are going on. Really, those were the most, books that I ever grabbed. So having all these books, then I just convert them into text, and I put them in a script called count words. So count words, that script will actually calculate how many times a specific word pair will appear. And I came up with statistics. I said, okay, of the, for example, appears so many times, that means that it shows somebody on passphrases especially. It's really it will be a key word on that. And also on 3-word pair, then we've got one of the to use the it appears so many times. So I wanted to use that as my word list for TMSs to create insert rules to insert to many positions. The first attack though was just to see how the combinator works. So I knew the first part. I knew that statistically wise that the of the either with space or without, then I was a good candidate for the first part of the word. And then I've done combinator attacks. So I started cracking those passwords, which are fairly, fairly okay. I mean, I don't really use a strong password, to be honest. Well, compared to that, I do, but so those are considered good passwords. So people use those passwords actually. And with also those are the 2 words, and also with 3 words, we started cracking more passwords, which was fair, which was quite good. But then with TMSs, then you've got those specific word pairs to be inserted in different locations. So that actually worked. It gave me more passwords. It gave me more lengthy passwords when the attack was there. And I thought, yeah, okay, we could just extend that in a bit. So in order to put that attack into, let's say, on steroids, then you've got combinator attacks and you've got insert attacks. So a combinator attack will just take the word on the left-hand side with the word on the right-hand side, which is fine. Hashcat doesn't support the whole attack, but it supports standard input. So I could run combinator, standard input into hashcat, and then rules. So my rules were, but then it does also accept rules left and rules right for just a combination of rules. So in the first example, the rule was these two. Well, very straightforward words. So there's two actually for one. So combining those, then you've got my ABO, I love, and then you've got the two messages, and insert, I love you, and one QA that's also which is fair in all locations. Those words, individually, they do it. But as an attack, they actually produce a practice passwords with a possible value. Right? So even if you do, there is no way to do it. There is no way to run it. But the combination of those attacks actually works. Same thing with this one. They combine those two, inserting basic words as rules. Then insert this rule for it, then insert this ABCD1 this position, insert super on this position as well. Then actually gave a really strong password. And those are more basic. And so you put the framework, the rule that will insert those positions, so that the whole thing, and figure out how to combine it. So that's the extension of the attack. And it actually produce a really strong password. I'll consider those passwords coded as the one that I mentioned at the beginning, like it was characters. Because that one appears when I want. But those passwords will never appear working unless they were linked up. Or they were just somebody linked them or whatever, then they were tested with the password. So this is what makes the message so powerful, or the combination of the message with the rest of the tools for hacking skills. So the last part is like it's a more milder version of it, but I think there's lots of work that you can have. So I'll be talking about engrams. So engrams is like creational functions. There's some issues on this, and then you can actually see the rule of smart. And smart can actually evaluate the password work on the happening. Right, and you have the letters are now here mostly. So starting with engrams, then you've got I run some analysis on both, and the end appears many times. Together, as well as string terms, MAR will appear so many times and whatever. So I'll take all these pairs. My work. Statistically should work, but that's how that goes. And it will come. Which has to be part of the episode. You don't mark it on whatever. But most of the times we're actually going to have MAR appear there. And when I'm talking about attacks, I'm still talking about attacks that they take maximum an hour. But I suppose pretty much it. I don't have a big time. But if I can track those with a single machine, then it might be more I don't know, so basically that was I just want to show that how powerful this could end up being. Be available anyway in Hashcat. Actually, it's already available in Hardware as well. And we are at. Particularly when you're looking at keywords, better areas. I'm wondering here this sort of to generate a Markov. Yes. I've seen people that they actually work on that, so you can say that Markov chain of words rather than at least that is good. Why we're not using that? I think you should some other people have it. Yeah, yes, so sometimes we or it could be but it actually works. So for example, this one could have there. And all this one, so it could be March. They don't work. But then they have and that's only one of what we have all these pairs. So so I just go and I took the and all the panels were used to pages. So that's every year so
Working is one of the standards.
Yeah.
Everybody uses it as Facebook.
But that's if you go to
So large statistical baseline of what can we use for massive.
So I think it would be really close to it would be exactly the same. It's not variation. So this is the number of brands from the number of so I try with 4 grams. So the more you can spend the number of the less. But I would say it's higher. So any more and it's really happening.
Right, my point.
Oh yeah.
To figure out there how to exactly here versus negatives.
So you can compare the actually variables and compare them and see what you can and how those group work and so you actually
It seems like something just like I hear about They're always looking at the positives of how do I figure out what kind of based on what I said and what good or how I'm actually finding passwords.
Oh, okay.
This isn't something I find theoretically. It's I'm actually finding passwords.
Oh,
In other
okay.
words, what things are being told. Well, or something else you can do is with security. Well, if you misspell a dictionary word, it screws these up big time. And so you can also do double C, in other words, security with C. And there again, it screws up these kind of things. So anything that's what I did with that is all and you need them and then try to get back to the part on these sides and I have seen. So if I'm missing that right so that's where I start another list of hey, you think about that and there it comes out. So I'm trying to what I've seen and what I'm
So it's something that actually happens that it's not so it's a great mistake.
I was trying to help you with what I'm saying. Using the negative space of what you're talking.
So, and I went against the instructor and I said, pronounce a lot of passwords. They target it from the rank behind it. And I compare against the normal random passwords, and they're actually fascinating because not if you pronounce someone like they have a chain on the random chain or a random one behind it. So I ran against the instructor. So actually giving a to pronounce someone. For people to remember the answer and actually completely the text. I can give you the also one. So I think that please comment.
Shoot.